Hi boys and girls, welcome to 10.1, defining outcomes, events, and sample space. Now I'm going to take 10.1 and do it over the course of a couple of days. The first day will be a little bit on the easier side. And there's not really much to write down, so I'm just going to kind of read from the book here. But this really chapter is about probability, so this is kind of the beginning of that. So for what we have to talk about today are outcomes and sample space. So when you play chess with your friend, the game may end in three possible ways. You win, you lose, or there's a draw. A draw, of course, means there's a tie. So all the possible results of an activity are called outcomes. In the case of chess, there are three possible outcomes from your perspective. You can win, lose, or draw. Now, a collection of all the possible outcomes, so if I wrote out all the outcomes, that's known as the sample space. So a collection of all the possible outcomes from an activity is known as a sample space. So flipping a coin. If I flip a coin, there's two possible outcomes. The outcomes are heads or tails. All right. Now, the sample space is heads, tails. That's a list. That's a collection of all the possible outcomes. Roll on a number die. So a number die has 6 face values. So when I roll a number die or a number cube, one of those face values is going to be appearing up, right? So there are 6 possible outcomes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so 6 outcomes. And so the sample space is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Next one, the weather forecast. So weather forecast can be broken up into 6 possible outcomes. You could be sunny, partly cloudy, rain, snow, thunderstorm. So those are possible outcomes. Next page. So list all the types of outcomes in each event. State the number of outcomes. So you spin the spinner shown and record the number where the spinner lands. So the outcomes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And it says state the number of outcomes. Well, there's 8 different outcomes. All right. In this case, you place the card shown face down, then you draw one and record the color. So here I have 6 cards. So I have blue, green, purple, brown, green, and white. So now we got to, again, the directions were list the types of outcomes in each event and state the number of outcomes. So in this case, the types of outcomes are blue, green, purple, brown, and white. And notice that I didn't say green twice, even though there are 2 green cards. Okay, I just said green once because it said what are the types of outcomes. So I can have blue, green, purple, brown, and white. But there are 6 possible outcomes because again, each one of these cards counts as a separate card. So if I draw one of them, if I pick one of them, there's 6 different cards here. So I could choose 6 different cards. All right. It even says something over here. There are 2 green cards because you count the repeated cases when counting the possible outcomes. There are 6 equally possible outcomes, but only 5 types of outcomes. All right. And so the last thing I want to go over are these 2 last questions here. It says select a number from the list of letters A, D, E, G, K. So list all the possible outcomes. So all the possible outcomes are, let's write this down. So all the possible outcomes are, let's list them. So I can pick an A, I could pick a D, I could pick an E, I could pick a G, and I could pick a K. So state the number of outcomes in the sample space. Well, there's 5 different things that can happen here. So the number of outcomes is 5. Here it says to use the letter cards below to form all possible 3-letter English words. So list all the possible outcomes. So let's see here. I could say ADD, add. I could say BAD, bad. I could do CAD, which is CAD. I could do DAD. I could do DAB, 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 and I gotta think about this. It took me a few seconds, but I got it. Cab, I could do cab. So list all the possible outcomes. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 outcomes. So those are all the possible outcomes, and the number of outcomes in the sample space, there are 6. All right. So what we're going to do today is I just want you guys to do on page 249. You're going to do numbers 1 through 6. All right. So yeah, numbers 1 through 6. We'll put them on the we'll submit them through Google Classroom, and that's it. So numbers 1 through 6 on page 249, and that's it. Email me with any questions.